New Obama scandal rocks 21 states after new damning evidence rocks Washington. The subject of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election is back in the news, but this time the subject matter is not about the unfounded Trump-Russia collusion pushed by the mainstream media, but rather that there is proof that the Russians attempted to obtain information within state voting systems. When this security breach took place, the Obama administration was made aware of the attempts but chose not to notify the respective secretaries of state where the intrusion attempts were made. Department of Homeland Security has confirmed and briefed the U.S. Senate committee that there were 21 state election systems subjected to attempted Russian hacking efforts. DHS officials, however, did not say publicly which 21 state election systems were compromised, leaving more questions about the lack of transparency. The Obama administration claims the reason why they did not notify these 21 secretaries of states was due to the fact that they didn't have the proper security clearance. Many in Washington, D.C., find this explanation to be without merit. The Daily Caller News Foundation Group conducted their own investigation and found that as of today, no state officials have been notified of this attempted breach of voting systems. Secretaries of state, who are the top election officials in 40 states, told the DCNF they were shocked to learn of the Russian hacking when Department of Homeland Security, DHS, officials first divulged it at a June 21, 2017, Senate Select Committee on Intelligence hearing. Janet Manfra, the Deputy Undersecretary for Cybersecurity and Communications at DHS, testified before the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, said, "We have evidence of election-related systems in 21 states that were targeted. The National Association of Secretaries of State were none too pleased by this, especially since they felt they should have been notified by the Obama administration and that Obama should have made every effort to ensure the appropriate secretaries of state receive the proper security clearance." Vermont's Secretary of State Jim Condos, who is a Democrat, said, "We were not notified. None of the states were notified. One of the reasons why they said they couldn't tell us about the 21 states is because we didn't have security clearances. Doesn't it make sense that they might find a way to give us a security clearance so we can talk to each other about this?" Secretary Condos has a valid point. Obama administration officials could have made arrangements for the affected secretaries of state to be briefed, but they decided not to. Adding fire to the flames, DHS Secretary Jeh Johnson designated state elections systems as federal critical infrastructure. This is significant because state election systems are just that, and they belong to the state, not the federal government. Many state officials saw this as an overreach by the feds. DHS Secretary Jeh Johnson made this designation official in 2017, and there is no word if President Trump intends to get involved in the matter. State officials who are disturbed by the actions of DHS say that federal officials have no idea how their state election systems work, and the designation is a recipe for a jurisdictional disaster. The fact remains that President Obama and his administration knew well in advance of the 2016 presidential election that Russia was playing games with these 21 election systems, decided not to notify the states, and took it one step further with fanning the flames that it was Trump who was colluding with the Russians. Conversely, it has already been proven that key Democratic senators, including Claire McCaskill, lied multiple times about meeting with the Russian ambassador. This latest revelation about the dereliction of duty on the part of the Obama administration is not surprising. The entire 8 years of the Obama administration was filled with scandal after scandal, many of which cost people their lives. Rather than take responsibility for his failings, President Obama took the typical left-wing strategy of just blaming someone else. The fact that President Obama knew the truth about the Russians and never spoke out to state this truth shows his true intention and disdain for President Trump and his administration. Being the worst president in American history is something that is likely not easy to live with, so Obama is not holding back to try and deflect blame just as he did while he was in office.